Good morning. My name is the Reverend Ranwa Hammamy. My pronouns are they, them. A quick visual description. I am a light brown-skinned person of Middle Eastern descent with dark brown hair that goes a little bit past my shoulders. I'm wearing red glasses. I have on a black and white keffiyeh over a black dress with green flames at the bottom. Our call to worship is one you might be familiar with, and I might need a little bit of help going through it. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Those words from Mr. Rogers will come into play soon. But as we enter into our worship, I invite our worship associate to light our chalice while we say the words in your order of service together. We light this chalice for the light of truth, the warmth of love, and the energy of service.
Our opening hymn this morning is number 108 in the gray hymnal, My Life Flows On in Endless Song. Please rise in body or in spirit and let us sing this together. And let us add just a touch of emphasis to that third verse.
I hear the real, the far
affirmation.
Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest of truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls may grow into harmony with the divine. This do we covenant with one another. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. La búsqueda de la verdad es su sacramento, y el servicio es su oración. Habitar juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con libertad y servir a la humanidad juntos, con el fin de que todas las almas puedan crecer en armonía con la divino. Esto es lo que pactamos unos con otros.
Still haven't gotten the land acknowledgement memo. Apologies. We light this candle in recognition of the Tamian and Muwekma Ohlone indigenous peoples, who are the first humans to inhabit and sustain this land thousands of years before settler colonizers arrived. We honor the resilience of these indigenous people in the face of devastating harm, and we lift up their resilience of their neighboring tribe to the south, the Amamutsan tribal band, with whom we are working to preserve their sacred land of Yuristak to ensure that their culture continues to thrive. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Jose. We hope to offer you a few moments of respite. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of San Jose, where we hope to offer you a few moments of respite, a chance to put aside the turbulence of these times, and to remind ourselves of our strength, our resilience, and our capacity to weather these storms together. While we may not know what tomorrow brings, we are glad for whatever has brought you here today. We welcome you in and cherish the diversity you bring to us with your gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, physical and mental capabilities. We invite you to join us as we work to fulfill the mission of this congregation, to make love visible in all we say and do. My name is Michael Thomas, and my pronouns are he, him. Today, I'm wearing a faint dark burgundy with Paisley's shirt, black jeans, which is my standard, and my hair pulled back in a ponytail because it's warm in here today. Thank you. We have an announcement from the nominating committee. Inez?
Good morning. My name is Inez Sapiola, and I have been a member of the nominating committee for over 3 years. Our work on the church nominating committee is going well. We're happy to announce that Amanda Sullivan agreed to be a candidate for president, and Susan Osborne agreed to serve as treasurer. However, we have one position we still have to fill, and we have tried hard. We still need a candidate for the position of personnel officer, or potentially 2 people to serve as co-personnel officers. We're very thankful that Kelsa Rowan and Sundar Murupali have served us very well as co-personnel officers for over 2 years and left us in very good shape. The senior minister takes the lead in the hiring process of new staff. The personnel officer assists to bring the voices of the congregation into the process. Also, they serve as a double check that performance reviews are done. They do the help with the new employee orientation and other communications. There is training available from Kelsa and Sundar and others. You don't need to have HR experience, just the willingness to serve. So if you think this is a good fit for you, or you have somebody that you think really would be a good fit, please see Connie. Connie, are you here? Back there. Connie or me at the end of the service, or you can email the nominating committee or Connie Block, Connie Hall. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Inez. Today, our speaker will be the Reverend Ranwa Hammamy. Well, as they said, remember to always correct yourself when you get pronouns incorrect. You'll get it eventually. They serve as the Congregational Justice Organizer on the UUA's Side with Love organizing strategy team. Based in Oakland, they also support local interfaith organizing around immigration and Palestinian liberation as part of their affiliated community ministry with the Mount Diablo UU Church in Walnut Creek. When not organizing, Reverend Ranwa sings with the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir, bakes theologically punny treats for their Sugaria Law anti-Islamophobia baking ministry, and makes sprinkle-based potions with their spouse and toddler. We're glad to have you here, Reverend Ranwa. After the service, we will have social hour in Hattie Porter Hall, just through those double doors. If you're new here, you can stop by the welcome table during social hour if you have any questions. Additionally, if you're new here or interested, we have a class starting today after church. A starting points class will be starting today at 12:15 after church. The 3-session class will be held upstairs in the youth room on the 2nd floor. A light lunch will be served. The class is good for newcomers and those returning to the church, and they discuss an introduction to Unitarian Universalism and the history of our First Unitarian Church. All are welcome. If you need information about how to find the classroom, please ask at the welcome table. Next, we have the story for all ages, which our new DRE will be giving. Marissa, come on up.
Marissa, I don't have a script, so you'll need to let me know when to turn the pages. Okay, how about the script here? Okay, can I run down and get it? Yeah. Oh, I actually need the script. I'm sorry? I need the script here. Yeah, okay, just let me know when to turn the page. Okay. Oh, you have to go on the screen. Because I don't have a script. Yeah, it's going to be on the screen.
Hello. Oh, yes. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to read a script called Perfect Square by Michael Hall. And Oh, yes, sorry. Come in. You're invited. I'm learning as I go. Please, please. I bring my personality too. You'll get used to it. All right. Well, I'm going to actually officially introduce myself. My name is Marissa, and I'm your new Director of Religious Education. My pronouns are she and her. Thank you. It's the first official intro. So before I read this book, I want you guys to just think about what I'm going to say. Sometimes life changes us in ways we didn't choose, but what if those changes didn't take away who we are? Only invited us to become something new. Today's story helps us wonder how resilience can live inside even the smallest shape. Can something still be whole even if it looks different than before? Where do you find creativity and hope when plans fall apart? What if resilience isn't about staying the same, but about discovering who you become? Perfect Square by Michael Hall. It was a perfect square. It had 4 matching corners and 4 equal sides. And it was perfectly happy. Next. Yeah. But on Monday, the square was cut into pieces and poked full of holes. It wasn't perfectly square anymore. So it made itself into a fountain that babbled and giggled and clapped. That's a pretty fountain. On Tuesday, the square was torn into scraps. So it made itself into a garden. On Wednesday, the square was shredded into strips. So it made itself into a park. On Thursday, the square was shattered. So it made itself into a bridge. That's a pretty bridge, really impressive actually. On Friday, the square was snipped into ribbons. So it made itself into a river. On Saturday, the square was crumbled, ripped, and wrinkled. So it made itself into a mountain. On Sunday, the square waited to see what was next. It waited and waited. Nothing happened. Its 4 equal sides were confining. Its 4 matching corners were rigid and cramped. So it made itself into a window that looked out on a mountain that gave birth to a river that was crossed by a bridge that led to a park that was home to a garden that had at its center a fountain that babbled and giggled and clapped. Now I want to end with this. What if resilience isn't about staying perfect, but about continuing to create something meaningful together? And that is all. And then I believe we're going to sing the children's song.
Go for it. You guys want to stand up? May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
The church is here because of the offerings of generations who came before us. Let us invest in the future with this morning's offering. Please give what you can, and remember, if your presence among us is all you can give today, that is enough. To the work of the church, which is making love visible in all we say and do, we dedicate ourselves and these, our offerings. We are beginning our stewardship campaign, and we have someone from the stewardship committee to come up and speak with us. Rick, if you could come up and give us a few words, please.
Hello, my name is Rick Morris, and I've been asked to say a little about why I pledged to the church. First, a little history for those of you who don't know me. I was raised as a UU in Pasadena, California, and 38 years ago I was married in this church to my wife, M.M. Feldman, who also grew up as a UU. Both my children were raised in this church, and I attribute a lot of who they are and how they act in the world to the people and experiences they were exposed to while growing up here. I will forever be grateful to the church for that. In my time here, I've had the opportunity to help serve the church and the wider community in many ways. One of the things that became abundantly clear to me somewhere along the way was that even with the best volunteers working on the best and most important causes, that we still need money to keep the place running. I believe that sometime in the 1990s, the UUA published some proposed giving guides. MM and I spent some time looking at them and realized that we were below what was recommended. So we looked at our finances and considered all we were getting from the church and made the commitment to increase our pledge. I realized that everyone's financial situation is different and that sometimes the only thing one can give is their time and talent. But for those of us who can, we should take a hard look at ourselves and think about those things in our lives that have a real, tangible effect on us week in and week out. When MM and I did that, the church came out as the most important thing outside of work and home. The church provides a community where we can seek refuge from the craziness of the world when it is overwhelming us. It provides an opportunity for us to find the great joy of giving our time and effort to things that really matter. It allows us exposure to things we may not encounter in our everyday lives. There was a point a number of years ago when I was changing jobs for the 4th time since joining this church, when I realized that the church was a much bigger constant in my life than my career. We all have ups and downs and periods of greater or lesser commitment to things. But one thing that I am truly glad about is that whenever I walk in the church, no matter how long it has been since the last time I was here, I am always welcome. You cannot put a price on that. In these troubled times, we need places like this church more than ever. So please join me in helping to ensure that it will continue on into the future.
Thank you. Now it is time for our joys and sorrows. We come together in community to share with one another, to support one another, and to celebrate with one another. As we begin, we know that there are both great sorrows and great joys in our world that must be acknowledged as well. We light our first candle in honor of those in pain, victims of violence, war, oppression, all around our world. We light a second candle because we know that in the midst of all that pain, there's still joy and celebration. We honor that joy and sorrow together. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you'd like to share, please come forward to light a candle. You may simply...
I invite us in this time to take a shared breath together. To remember that in these moments where we can feel alone, where we can feel as though there is no possible way we can heal what is happening in the world, no possible way where we can navigate a tremendous loss or uncertainty. We can come back to that breath. That breath which connects us. That breath which is a gift. That breath which everyone deserves to have. That breath that you share with every person within these walls, on that Zoom call, in the streets of Minneapolis, in the streets of San Jose. Every time we take that breath, we remember we are not alone. And together, we will make love loud in this world. I invite us into a few moments of silence that will end with the ringing of the bell. A poem to my prodigal brother by Mozhakov. Little brother, I see you, crumpling the fail-safe faith map they gave us, tossing it to the wind and hang gliding into the valley. You are full of reverence for God in the raw. Stay inside the four walls of religion, they told us. Obey, 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 obey what? My body catching this wind is obeying the pulse of the breathtaking divine. You, canoeing those rapids, are breaking into the spray of larger, unseen waves. I don't know how to stop this unfolding of limbs, this levitation of self into self. I don't know much anymore. It is time for us not to know. We radiate light from our darkness. Doubt, the kind I hear in you, is a sign of restlessness for God. All this being lost has much more truth in it than the pocket watch faith of believers who stay on dry ground, never wetting the hem of their piety. How is it faith if they never jump off the ledge of the familiar? Let's flip them the birdie and fly. Swim, rock climb, claw thorns that puncture us like question marks. Little brother, here's the one thing I know. Our only outside chance at the sacred comes through being astray.
Our next hymn is number 6 in the Gray Hymnal, Just as Long as I Have Breath. Please rise in body or in spirit. Lyrics will be on screen. Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dawn, always standing lucid star. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to love. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love. You may be seated.
Yes, this service really is titled TBD. I wish I could tell you that I perhaps ironically planned it out that way months in advance, But the truth is, Reverend Matthew needed to put something in your church newsletter, and I forgot to send him content. When I finally realized I had missed the deadline, I stared at those 3 letters in his email. Oh, they were mocking me. At first, tempted to give into the shame and guilt for yet another ball-dropped Ranwa, but then decided to get in on the joke. TBD it is, because these days, doesn't everything feel a little TBD? A lot, and I guess most of our lives, really now is to be determined. And that's on both the large and small scale. Just this past week, a number of small TBDs kept popping up in my own life that made it very clear that even though this has been the longest January of our lives, hallelujah, it's February, I have achieved absolutely nothing I planned to accomplish when it began. One moment stands out to me as I worship with you in this physical space because it happened just a few miles south of here. As part of my time singing with the Oakland Interfaith Gospel Choir, I sometimes have the privilege of singing as part of a smaller ensemble that performs at events throughout the week. One such event was this past Thursday, when a group of about 9 of us sang as part of a middle school assembly on the history of the Black gospel music tradition. This was a performance that the choir probably said yes to 2 or even 3 months ago, but as of this past Wednesday, nobody who had signed up to perform knew anything about what we were going to be doing there. I texted the other soprano I saw on the list of singers for the event, and I asked her if she'd heard anything. Nope, nothing besides what's in the calendar invite, she texted back. Cool, I think. As I text back a gif of Martin Freeman as Bilbo Baggins running out to the Shire saying, "I'm going on an adventure!" "It's the OIGC way," she texts back. I react with the melting face emoji. And sure enough, it was an unpredictable adventure. First, there was a surprise, thank goodness, 3rd soprano as part of our group. I felt my shoulders release when I walked into our green room and I saw her sitting there. Second, we learned a new song in that same room about 10 minutes before showtime that allegedly the school choir was going to sing with us at the end. Third, surprise! Even though I said I didn't want to do it, the first song we sang was one where I have a solo and I was not ready. Fourth, related, we had no idea what our set list was. We only knew whatever and whenever we were singing when it was announced. Fifth, plot twist! The song we learned last minute because the school choir was going to sing it with us, they didn't learn it. It really did feel like I was in middle school again. There were moments when I felt so awkward, so uncomfortable, and like everybody in the room was judging me. But those were far outweighed by the moments where the unpredictability was an utter delight. When I saw a group of teens swaying side to side, arms around each other as we sang that last song that nobody really knew. When I caught eyes with the millennial and Gen X teachers who immediately got the Sister Act 2 reference that was made about Oh Happy Day. When I sang next to that surprise 3rd soprano and heard our voices click into a joyfully blended sound. When I remembered that in that room of 200 preteens and teens was a whole lot of curiosity and potential, a whole lot of TBD. Woven throughout the chaos and unpredictability of the OIGC way were strands of care, trust, connection, joy, and grace. Even in the moments when I had no idea where that adventure was taking me, I could hold on to those strands and know that at least it was going to be somewhere I would have good company. Even if I didn't know what or when my next move was going to be, what my next shape was going to be, I knew that there was going to be a next move and that I didn't have to make it alone. Even if as individuals we didn't know where we were going, if we committed to ensuring we all got there together, Those plot twists and TBDs could really be exciting Hobbit adventures. Now, successfully navigating the unpredictability of a middle school assembly isn't necessarily going to have the same socio-political or personal weight as finding ways to navigate the devastating unpredictability of so much in our lives and world. But it does represent a fractal of what we can do in the midst of overwhelming uncertainty. Remember that we are in good company. That no matter how much the troubles or the horrors of our lives or the world try to convince us that we are alone in our struggles, it is impossible to sever every connection we have to someone or something that is journeying with us. That there is potential in that unpredictability, uncertainty that generates creativity, the unforeseeable can be fertile, that there is something truly divine in letting ourselves lean into TBD sometimes. As a faith-rooted organizer, leaning into what remains possible when the uncertainty feels like it is at overwhelming levels is at the core of every campaign, every strategy, every action, every tactic I and others engage. As part of your National Side with Love staff team at the UUA, all of the trainings, the mobilizations, the worships, the gatherings, the Zoom calls, the organizing guides, the frameworks, all of that we create would not exist if Unitarian Universalists ever actually abandoned the possibility and power that still lives in these moments. Our entire existence embodies our faith's understanding that we can always do something or be something grounded in love when pain and disappointment dominate our reality. We, Unitarian Universalists, create that elusive spark when we remain steadfast in a belief that love prevails, even if at this moment it appears impossible. But that power truly is only successful when we choose to engage it together. We immediately forfeit our capacity to navigate unpredictability when we give in to division, isolation, scarcity. Our resilience, our power to adapt to whatever shape we are going to be, our power to create lasting change depends on our faith in each other, our commitment to turning to and providing for one another in community, especially in moments when circumstances feel insurmountable or all hope feels lost. One of my favorite examples of the leaning into possibility and creativity comes from a text that has often been too misused to create the painful unpredictability many of us may be experiencing right now: the Christian New Testament. Some of you may be familiar with the loaves and fishes story, also known as the feeding of the 5,000. It tells a tale of Jesus and his disciples finding themselves amongst a crowd of 5,000 people, and the disciples insisting they did not have enough food to feed everyone, possessing only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. Despite, or perhaps because of that reality, Jesus told them to break what little they had into pieces and distribute them amongst the crowd. As the story goes, somehow, miraculously, everyone was well fed, and they ended up with 12 baskets worth of extra food. But what is sometimes overlooked in this story's retelling is what happened immediately before this crowd gathered. Jesus learns of the murder of his friend John the Baptist by the hands of the state. That lands real hard today. He and his community experience both an unpredictable loss and a terrifying reminder that those in positions of political power will stop at nothing to silence or disappear them. It is while they are processing this grief and this terror that those 5,000 people come together and serve as a reminder of a community that believes in something more powerful than the tyrants of their time. And in one of the most uncertain and hopeless moments of his life, Jesus chooses not to turn them away, but to welcome them, to trust that whatever happens next, together they will provide whatever is needed for everyone to be nourished that night. That choice to turn towards community reflected his understanding that he could lean into that unknown, get caught up in the winds of a breathtaking divine, find God in the raw if he was committed to ensuring everyone journeyed together. His disciples, on the other hand, abandoned that opportunity at first because they sought to separate from community, saying that they should turn away the gathered crowd. When they argued, what is 5 loaves and 2 fishes among so many, they assumed that their particular capacity was all that the community had. Rather than lean into the wonder, the possibility of that question, they fell into a myth of powerlessness, driven by scarcity and isolation. In that moment of hardship and uncertainty, they only observed the difficulties of their reality and failed to explore the very real opportunities that community coming together could truly offer. And real talk, did they really think the others that had traveled from so far away wouldn't have loaves and fishes among them? Did they really think that they were going to go on a big old trip and not have snacks? I'm also guessing that none of those disciples were parents, because I would never leave home without an extra fruit snack or granola bar for my black hole of a stomach toddler. The people that came to that spot in the story came because they did not know what their next move was going to be, but they believed that if they took it together, it could be something greater than the troubles and oppression that they were experiencing. They had questions about their survival, about their safety, and they chose to come together not in spite of them, but because of them. They did not know exactly what was among their 5,000, but because they believed in the possibility of their collective generosity, transformation, interdependence, and love. That's familiar. They were able to move towards something more sacred. Whether you find meaning in the Jesus stories or not, choosing to believe that our communities have power and capacity to stay grounded in love in the midst of the unceasing horrors we are encountering these days is absolutely important. Resisting a myth that we cannot make real, sustained, collective change, and choosing to engage in those concrete actions that create micro moments of transformation, it's not just bringing about a world with love at the center. It is a world with love at the center. When we resist falling into the belief that uncertainty makes us powerless and instead lean into our shared potential, we are answering yes to life. Yes to truth, yes to love. We are practicing a deeper faith. We are embodying a reverence for the holy that can only be created when we choose to come together over and over and over again. And I know, these days it is so much easier to stand up here and speak about finding creativity in our uncertainty than it is to actually believe and embody it sometimes. We live in a country that we know is so unapologetically proud of its fascist leadership, it is kidnapping kids and using them as bait to kidnap their parents. Our children are learning active shooter drills starting as young as preschool. Community observers are being publicly executed in broad daylight. The scale and frequency of climate crises is growing at an alarming rate. Our healthcare system is not only rapidly deteriorating, it is now hundreds, if not thousands of dollars more for the average family to get some semblance of coverage. And we are entering the third year of a genocide in Palestine funded by the tax dollars that could pay for our health care. And if the flagrant violations of domestic and international law by the Trump administration in Venezuela and now apparently Greenland are any indication, we are speeding down a path of imperialism that is as reckless as it is evil. And so, how can I have the audacity or the naivete to tell us that as long as we believe it, anything is possible, when all around us it feels as though we are witnessing and experiencing the opposite? Because I do not simply believe the possibility is strongest in the unpredictability. I have proof. We all do. In that long moral arc of the universe. This concept that we might know popularized by Martin Luther King Jr., but originally from one of our Universalist ancestors, Reverend Theodore Parker, is a reminder of just how much remains unknown and how reassuring that can actually be. As a pre-Civil War abolitionist, Parker shared the image of this arc as a reminder that even if this particular moment feels hopelessly beyond our control, history clearly and repeatedly tells us otherwise. Look at the facts of the world, Parker writes. You see a continual and progressive triumph of the right. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. But from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice. Things refuse to be mismanaged long. Jefferson trembled when he thought of slavery and remembered that God is just. Ere long, all America will tremble. Time and time again, our world has shown us what is just and moral does win out. Our communities show us that they are capable of acts of care, great and small. From the quiet tactics of neighborhood pause, ensuring that families experiencing financial hardship due to the risk of detention or deportation still have access to food and health care, to the over 200 people of faith who shut down an ICE facility in San Francisco this past December, and then to the people that protested in Minneapolis, to the thousands that did their strikes these last 2 weeks, to the faith leaders that demanded that Congress pass a just budget, to the mutual aid networks that fed families when SNAP assistance was halted, to the faith communities that welcome and affirm people of all gender identities, to the meal trains set up to support families going through medical emergencies, to the rematriation of lands to indigenous communities. I had that in my line. I forgot about Eurostock. So much more. We are the result of several millennia's worth of proof that tyrants do, in fact, tremble. And that a gathered crowd has more than enough for everyone to be fed. That there is hope and enough resilience in us to create a world where love prevails. Now you remember I had you sing, "Would You Be My Neighbor?" This coming weekend, we know that there's what some might call the Superb Owl or the Super Bowl coming to the South Bay. And faith communities in the South Bay are being asked to lead "Won't You Be My Neighbor" gatherings during that weekend to share a message of welcome, love, and celebration for our immigrant neighbors and beloveds. We are doing this because we have seen it work in Minneapolis, across the country. This presence on the street reminding people another way is not only possible, but right here. It is why these faith communities, when the uncertainty of what city will be the next Operation Metro Surge, are coming together. It is why we know we can embody a holy creativity by creating those infrastructures of community care where nobody is left behind and where we turn towards each other when everything is telling us to turn away. It is why we as individuals, when we are not sure what our next move can or should be, if we take that collective breath, if we turn to our neighbor, we know that there will be a next move and that we will be in good company. And so in that spirit, I'm going to invite us into our closing hymn that I'm going to teach you, assuming I remember how to teach it. This hymn, Stronger Than the Fear, comes from the streets of Minneapolis, written by Serena Partridge. And I think we're going to have some slides. I'm going to use a handheld mic to help with this. So heads up to Tech Deck. Thank you, Tech Deck. All right. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to say the words line by line, and you're going to repeat them back. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. We see the path before us, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus, and we are not afraid. All right, I'm going to try to remember how to teach this to y'all. And it's a zipper song, so we're going to have love, and then some other words take the place of love. But always know love is at the root of those. All right, I'm going to sing a line. You're going to sing it back to me. Our love. Oh, yeah, you can rise if you want. Yes. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is strong. Our love is stronger than the fear. 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 We see the path before us, and we are not afraid. We see the path before us, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus, and we are not afraid. So I definitely taught that to you wrong, and it's going to be TBD how we get there. But we're going to sing it. We're going to sing that verse again a couple times before we switch to those. And get comfy. And I don't know what key we're in. If you can figure it out, go for it. We don't need it. That's the joy of singing in the streets. If you have a drum or want to do a beat, you're welcome to. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. We see the path before us, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus, and we are not let's do that again, whatever the melody is. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger. imperfectly and gracefully. All right, let's go. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. Our love is stronger than the fear. We see the path before us, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus, and we are our hope. Our hope is stronger than the fear. Our hope is stronger than the fear. Our hope is stronger than the fear. We are the path before us, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus. We are our song. I'm going to take myself off mic. Our song is stronger than the fear. Sing it out. Our song is stronger than the fear. Our song is stronger than the fear. We see the path. We see the path before us. We are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus. We are our joy. Turn to someone and sing it. Our joy is stronger than the fear. Turn to your neighbor, your loved one. Our joy is stronger than the fear. Our joy is stronger than the fear. We see the path before us, and we are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus. All right, sing this Our Love once more time to the halls of DC. Our love is stronger than our love. Our love is strong. I think you can be louder than that. Let's go. Our love is stronger than the fear. We see the path before us. We are not afraid. Our mighty chorus. Our mighty chorus. Listen, we see the path before us. We see the path before us. We are not afraid. We are a mighty chorus. We are not afraid. Thank you for modeling grace. And in that spirit, you can take hands. One of the other OIGC ways is to pray together right before a concert in this form, in a circle holding hands. We bring love. We bring joy. We bring song. We bring hope. We bring uncertainty. We bring possibility. We bring community. We send love. We send love. We send love. We send love. Go out and send love.